morning, Sunday school class. I hope you had a good week. Maybe you even got outside and got to play in the snow a little bit. I'm one of those people that really like snow and don't even mind seeing it in April. Today I'm going to start out by talking about saying yes or no. So if you were asked a question, a simple question that you could answer with yes or no, how would you answer it? Well, obviously you would either say yes or you would say no, or you might do this. Just shaking your head could answer it. Now, if you know a little bit of sign language, you could do it like this. You could say yes or no. Yes or no. So today we're going to play a little game and I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to answer yes or no. It might be kind of fun to do the sign language, say yes or no, but if you want to just say yes or no or nod your head, you can do that. Are you ready? So the first question is, did you have orange juice this morning? Do you have a pet? Can you drive a car? Is your tongue green? Do you live on the planet Earth? Do you have 2 ears? Do you have 11 toes? Are you at home right now? Do you have shoes on right now? Will you play soccer today? Do you have a swimsuit on? Does God want you to be a kind person? And finally, do you believe in Jesus? So we'll talk a little bit about saying yes and no in our lesson later on. So last Sunday was Easter, and that's when Jesus rose from the dead. But what happened after that? There was a time between when Jesus rose from the dead and when he ascended into heaven, and it was 40 days. And what happened during that time after Jesus rose from the dead? Well, from the Bible we know that Jesus made appearances, or he showed up to different people. Now our story today is about Jesus appearing to the disciples. And our story is called Doubting Thomas. Now, do you know what the word doubt means? Well, it means, I'm not sure I believe what you're telling me. So what if I told you I rode in a helicopter this morning? What would you say? Would you say, oh, I believe that? Or would you say, I doubt that? You would probably say, I doubt that. Now, what if I told you I brushed my teeth this morning? What would you say to that? Well, you'd probably say, I believe that. Now, why would you believe that I brushed my teeth, but I didn't ride in a helicopter? Did you actually see me brush my teeth this morning? No, you didn't, so you'd have to believe what I told you. Now, our story is from the book of John. And the book of John has a lot of stories that tell people how to believe, or stories that will encourage people to believe in Jesus. And it's about a big thing, bigger than a helicopter ride. It's about believing that Jesus was risen from the dead. Our story goes like this. The disciples were in a room that was locked. And they were in there because they were afraid. Now, they were afraid that the same thing that happened to Jesus, being put to death, was going to happen to them. So they had locked the doors. And suddenly Jesus appeared to them, even though the doors were locked. And he said, peace be with you. Now, peace be with you is kind of like hello. It was a common greeting, But I think Jesus meant more than just hello. I think he actually wanted the disciples to feel peace because they were afraid and they were locked away. And there was one disciple named Thomas who was not there. After Jesus had gone, the disciples told Thomas what had happened. And Thomas was not sure that he believed him. He kind of doubted that that was true. He could not believe unless he saw for himself that Jesus had risen and was with them. Sometime later, Jesus appeared in the room again, and this time Thomas was there. And Jesus said to Thomas, "Come and touch my hands, the wounds in my side, and know that it's me." And Thomas said, "My Lord and my God." Thomas then believed. And Jesus said to him, "You believe because you've seen me. Blessed are those people who have not seen me and still believe." Now, who are these people Jesus was talking about? Well, you and me, for one thing. You and I are some of those people that believe in Jesus even though we haven't seen him. And how did we come to learn about Jesus? Well, probably from our parents, our grandparents, our Sunday school teachers, our pastors. Maybe even some of our friends told us about Jesus. And maybe you can be one of those friends that leads people to Jesus so that they can say yes to Jesus. Now, it was kind of unfair to Thomas because we always refer to him as Doubting Thomas. And actually, he was a very faithful disciple, and he was even willing to die for Jesus. But Jesus was very kind and gentle with Thomas, even when he doubted. Now, we can have questions and doubts and sometimes wonder about Jesus, but he treats us just like he did Thomas. He treats us the same with loving kindness and gentleness. Now, our craft for today has to do with the last question that I asked you when we played the yes or no game. And what we're going to do is we're going to make something to hang on your door. Now, if you remember what the last question was, it was, do you believe in Jesus? So we want to make a door hanger. And what we'll do is we'll start out with a paper. If you have paper stock or cardboard or something a little bit sturdier, you can cut it out of that. You can make it any size you want or any shape. And you're going to punch a couple holes in the top, and you're going to put a string on it that you can hang on your door. So then you're going to decorate it, and what I want you to do is put yes in big letters, and then decorate it any way you'd like. And the yes stands for, yes, I believe in Jesus. And maybe if someone comes to visit and you have a friend or a relative over, they can look at that door hanger and you can explain to them what the word yes means. Now, if you take out your leaflet, on the first page is the story about Doubting Thomas. And when you look at the pictures, there's a word that corresponds with the picture. So when you read the story, you will say the word instead of the picture that's in the story. Find your large sticker and put it on the first page. Now your second page is about saying yes. And what you do with this is you make an X or check mark off any of the pictures in the box where you have done something that was kind, that you said yes to Jesus. And you could draw a picture of a time that you were kind or said yes to Jesus. Now, of course, the word believe starts with the letter B, and on the third page there are a lot of things that start with the letter B, so you find those and put a circle around them. And then on the bottom of the page, you can finish putting your stickers on, which will finish the sentences. Now on the last page, this is very interesting if you've ever seen this sign. And when we get back into church, maybe you can look for this sign somewhere in the church. But this sign, it looks like a fish, and it's the sign for a Christian. What the disciples did was, because they were afraid of people who didn't believe in Jesus, when they met someone, they would draw an ark in the dust, and if the other person drew an ark the other direction that made a fish, they knew that they were a Christian, and they did not have to be afraid of that person. So what you can do in this box is you can practice drawing the fish, and maybe somebody at home with you will do this. You draw the one ark, and then you ask them if they could draw the other ark, and then you will finish the picture of the fish together. So what did we learn from our lesson today? We learned that Jesus loves and cares for us, even if we do bad things. Even if we have questions or doubts, we know that Jesus is always there for us. And Jesus wants us to tell other people about him so that they can say yes to Jesus. Have a good week, and I will see you next week.
Oh, I'm not gonna let Satan blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine till Jesus comes.